So welcome back for our second edition of the Echelon program overview. Today, or this session, we're going to talk about the installation of the Rhythm product. So Rowan, would you like to just take us through that, please?
Sure, thanks Peter. Yeah, so the Rhythm kits come with everything you need to assemble. It's supplied with an acrylic back panel which holds all the assembly together, and then these sub-assemblies, which are the wood composite profile and the front fascia, come already assembled, and they simply attach.
So they don't have to put the fascia on, the fascia is already attached.
Correct.
Okay, so that reduces the labour content for your cabinet maker also.
Yep.
So the first step, what do they do?
Yeah, so they screw the back panel to the assemblies, and then I'll just come around the desk, and we also provide these brackets.
I might just put that up a little bit closer there. So if you have a look in the cabinet there, you actually have a look, there's brackets that get supplied by Echelon, and the joiner fits it.
Yep, yeah, so it comes with instructions on how to place them. It's pretty straightforward. So those brackets will go on the bottom and the top of the joinery that they've built.
Yep.
Then once that's all done, you simply grab your assembled kit and slide it into place. Now you'll notice that this joinery didn't have a back to it. We've just done that for demonstration purposes.
Yes, I might just flip that around there, so there's no back, it's basically the Perspex backing.
Yep, correct. And then you can put your LED strip lighting or in the back, whatever you want to do if you need lighting.
Perfect. So it makes joinery pretty easy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's not too bad.
Yeah, so it's quite straightforward.
Yeah. So what clearances? So if I'm 600 unit,
Yep.
what would you say? You did mention it before, but as in height wise, what do I need?
Yeah, so you simply add 1 millimetre to height and width.
Yep.
To the actual size of the kit. So the standard kit size height for all the kits is 600 millimetres.
Yep.
So your joinery would be 601 millimetres.
Okay, so if I get a bottle of wine here and I pop that into the opening, what you'll see is that bottle sits all the way in. Okay, so it sits all the way into the unit. So that obviously stops any of the bottleneck sitting out and being knocked or causing any damage in the client's house.
Yeah, so the depth of the profile is 320 millimetres, which is pretty much any bottle height doesn't really exceed that. The total depth, if you include the back panel and the front fascia, is 329. Right. So that's what you've got to allow for.
Yeah.
So if you want a little bit of gap in the back of the cabinet for lighting, add 20, 30 millimetres.
Okay, perfect. The other thing is too that, and we've actually got here at the back. I'm just going to remove this from the desk. We've got a unit here where it's actually running horizontal, so we can actually run them horizontal.
Yeah, so you can lie them on their side, and you'll see with this one we've actually got an alloy fascia and a black fascia, and so if you have you've got a space which is wide but not very tall, like above a fridge or something like that, then you could just simply do 1 or 2 stacks or 3, whatever is closest to the space you have available.
Then once again, we're talking about, say, from a design perspective, but from a manufacturing, it's quite easy to do. Also, too, I noticed that we're talking about a 1200 unit, so we've got a 1200 high unit. The question is, how do I connect the 600 and the 600 together?
Yeah, so it's pretty much a standard, in this instance, what we call a 2x6, which is 2 stacks of 6, and then there's 2 sets of those kits with a joiner front piece and accompanying back panel connector as well. Yeah. So it's pretty straightforward. You just join them up during the assembly process and slide them in.
Okay. So what do you recommend? Like if it goes, because we've had questions, and I'm sure all the territory managers as such have had a question of maybe going higher and wider. What are your recommendations, for instance, if I had an 1800?
Yeah, you wouldn't want to go any taller than 3 kits high, which is 1800.
Okay.
It's particularly if you're going wider, we actually don't supply these connectors for anything wider than a double stack. So it's a single or a double stack. Yeah. So what we call a 1x12 or a 2x12 in this instance.
Perfect. Yeah, listen, I think there's not a lot more to the product, but from us, as far as from Lincoln Century's perspective, Our relationship with Rowan has been a long-standing, and I think that with the amount of products that you do have, there's not a lot that we do, but I think that in looking at it from a commercial, domestic, architect specifiers, it's definitely a lot of potential with these particular products. So, listen, if there's anything else you wanted to add, Rowan?
No, I just think with the two racks that we make, the Echelon and the Rhythm, it's all about we try to achieve a really beautiful solution to wine storage.
Right, yeah, and definitely do that. The architects and designers that I've actually spoken to, it's definitely been a wow factor product. So, listen, I thank you very much for your time today, Rowan.
Thank you.
And I look forward to actually doing a little bit more, and hopefully from a Lincoln Centric perspective, we can start to push your product and get a bit of product moving.
Great, thanks a lot, Peter.
Thanks, mate.